Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Tom Brody. It is 7:07. It's time for 7 minutes of sunshine. Thanks for joining me this morning. So glad to see you, uh, or to see your little thing show up on my screen. Anyway, it's great to see you. Woke up to some news this morning, right? Actually went to bed with it. Big leak from the Supreme Court. Which is basically about an opinion written by Alito, apparently leaked, which has never happened ever. So that's political in nature, probably, which is sad. And then, of course, the decision to overturn Roe, which is a big deal. Big deal. And the logic used behind it can be used to really overturn just about anything these folks don't like, which includes my marriage. Yeah. Anyway, sucks, right? Sucks. Big deal. But hey, folks, we have been living through really seeing part of America using a lot of might and force, not even with majority vote, but with the Electoral College, even a little with some assists to get power, and then really take the Supreme Court. And it's just amazing what we've witnessed. And I guess the question is, we have the choice as to what we're going to do about it, right? All along the way. Are we going to fight for our democracy? Are we going to stand up for our values? And are enough people going to do it? Do enough people care? That's really the question. It's the question for each of us individually. And then it's the question for our country as a whole. And really, if you think back to the culture war that started in a big way 49 years ago when Roe came down, there were a group of people that were not having it, and they fought for 5 decades to do whatever it would take to get this thing reversed. And it sounds like we're right on the verge of it. So there you go. This is what's happened in America, and it happens when this type of stuff happens as we, as a society, don't learn to talk to each other. I'm not making excuses for this. I'm just saying this when we don't learn to try to talk through what our shared values are, sometimes we have to fight over them. And we have been, and we've had this culture war going on, and we've had that a smaller and smaller group of people being pretty pissed off about the changes that are happening in America, right? And they are fighting back, and they got the Supreme Court, and they're pretty savvy and pretty smart, and they're willing to do just about anything. And so the question is, what are we going to do, right? What are we going to do? Those of us that believe in our own individual rights to marry, for a woman to have an abortion if she chooses to know that it's her body and her choice. And there's going to be a lot of other stuff, right? For anti-racism efforts, really for continuing to mold this society into being more progressive and more equal and for everybody. What are we going to do about it? What are we going to do? What are we willing to do? That's how I phrased this show, this program, or my little 7 minutes today is, what are we willing to do to stand up for our values? What are we willing? How are we willing to act? What are we willing to do? What kind of energy are we willing to put in? What kind of labor with our 2 hands are we willing to do? What kind of checks are we willing to write? That's the question for us today. What are we willing to do? So hopefully enough people care about continuing to make this a more perfect union. It's our job to help make them care. That's if we care, is to inspire others, is to speak our values. And there you have it. So I'm still kind of in shock from what came down last night. But it's time, folks. Today's voting day. I will be voting right now. I hope you're voting in Ohio. I hope you're at least taking the time to vote. And it's a primary, but we really let a minority of folks choose our political leaders too, because we have a terrible voting record in this country, especially in primaries. So do you care enough to at least figure out who's running and go vote today? That's one small thing we can all do. We're going to have to do a lot more. We got to vote. We got to protest. We got to fight. We got to talk. We got to share our values. We have to have conversations with all the folks around us. And I mean real conversations, not just fight, not just abusing each other, yelling at each other, but really talk about what's right and what's fair. And what's right and what's fair is that we all have to live in this country together, right? And we have to include all of us. We all have to have a place at the table. And we can't have a small group of people basically force their conservative values on the rest of us either, right? We have to figure this out. So I'm showing up. I promise you that. I'm going to go vote. I challenge you to do that today. Call your friends and family. Tell them to vote. Start thinking about your values and how we want to shape our communities, our state, our country. What you're willing to do it for your kids, your grandkids. It's worth it. I get to be married today because of it, and frankly, because Donald Trump, who lost the popular vote, became president with a little assist from Russia, frankly, from social media bullshit and lies, from Fox News, in a very close election, and then stealing a Supreme Court justice and forcing that last one onto 3 Supreme Court justices is why we're here today, where we have a Supreme Court that is very politicized with Federalists. And that's just the reality. That's where it's at. So what are we going to do? It's going to take a long time. We're going to have to do it. We've got to keep doing it. It's worth it. It's worth standing up for our values. Make sure you know what they are. Mine are love, courage, family, and community. My superpower is to inspire. What's yours? Let's use it. Let's do something. At least go vote today. All right. That's my 7 minutes of sunshine for today. A little call to action. Whew, I'm still kind of in shock by that thing. Hope you have a wonderful day despite the news. Let's use this as a call to action. Let's remember that we always have to stand up for our values. All right. Remember, even when it's really damn cloudy out, the sun is always shining, and you are the sunshine. Let's do this.